Hi guys, welcome to Triple N yet again. If you are a returning subscriber, we have missed you and welcome to this episode. If you are a new subscriber, karibu sana. I'm sure you're going to enjoy the content in this channel and I hope you get to stay with us. If you're watching and you have not subscribed, the subscribe button is below here. Make sure you click on it so that you watch all our previous videos and you watch all our future videos that are coming. Today we are going to discuss about what I wish I knew in my 20s, because when you're in your 20s you're all over the place, but then I really wish either someone had told me or just basically what I have learned looking back retrospectively, because now I am in my 30s. Of course I'm much older and I would say I know a bit much more. So let's dive right in. If you're in your 20s, this is the time to learn. If you're in your 30s, you'll share with us and let us know if these are things that you wish you knew as well. So starting us off, I wish I had started saving immediately, because even if you start saving early, there is nothing wrong with that. There's a whole life ahead of you, and it is important for you to put in that saving. Even if it is 200 bob, it is 500 bob, 1,000 bob, it is important. You're never too young to say that you will not start saving. So if you're in your 20s, na uko na hustle ama unapata some pocket money, enda fungua account. All these banks that we have, your key banks that we have in Kenya, wanasonga na some savings account. Throw in something there. Believe you me, you will need it at some point. So whether you're getting pocket money, ama ni job uko nayo, ama uko to jobs kidogo tu ni data entry, nika field work here and there, please save. There are a lot of options for young people. So I wish I knew that, and I wish I had done that in my 20s. The other thing that I wish I had also learned in my 20s is that don't worry too much about people's opinions, because that is the time for you to experiment. When it comes to experimenting with your career, whether it is experimenting with your social life, whether it is experimenting with even what you're studying, that is the time for you to do that. Because I feel like for most people in your 20s, you still don't have a lot at stake. Unapata, most people are still living at home or they're being supported by their parents. So these are the times that you can just go right ahead and just make those mistakes. So in your 20s, in my 20s, I wish I had taken more time to just, pursue my passions, pursue my interests, not worry so much at so and so will say this, so and so will say that. Because let me tell you, once you get into your 30s, life becomes a little bit more serious. There's a lot more stake. If you have a family, you have to start thinking about your family. If you have a child, this is the time you're thinking about school fees, about insurance, about all those things. But you're in your 20s, unaweza here and there, unaweza play around kidogo. The other thing that I wish I knew in my 20s, your upbringing does not define you. Don't get stuck on that you came from a poor background. I come from a home that is not known. I come from a single parent family. Let not that be your defining power. Get out of that zone. Just know that once you get out here, there are equal opportunities for all of us. I know there are people who maybe come from a point of privilege and they might have had a better start more than you, but don't get so much fixated on, because me I come from a poor home, I cannot be able to progress beyond here, or because I came from a broken family, then there's nothing else for me. So just know that your upbringing does not define you. Start defining your own individuality as a person, so that then you change your narrative. The other thing I wish I knew in my 20s is believe in myself more. Mainly because there are so many things, even some of the things that I'm doing in my 30s, that I had thought about when I was in my 20s. Had I begun them then, definitely by now I would be so far much ahead. But because then I didn't believe in myself as much as now, I put a lot of those things on hold. So I would advise you that if you're in your 20s and there's something that you're thinking about, just believe in yourself. That's all it takes. Just believe in yourself. Go out there and find that thing. Be it education, be it business, be it your passions, be it your hobbies in your 20s. That is the time. Believe in yourself, because no one else will believe in you more than you believe in yourself. The other thing that I wish I knew about my 20s, that it is okay for me to make mistakes. You are young. No one is expecting you to know everything. Make those mistakes if they are unavoidable. But then again, I'm not saying just go be careless there, like just make mistakes just because you're in your 20s. No. That don't be too careful to the point of you're not living life because you're scared of making mistakes. It is your time, make mistakes, learn from them, move on. The other thing on that I would also say, that once you make mistakes, don't let them define you. Just learn and move on to the next thing. Because in your 20s, nobody is expecting you really to be perfect. And I say that because I lived through my 20s really following what I thought was the ideal life. Like, you finished school, you've gone, you started your degree, you're finished, you want to go and enroll in your master's, you're finished, like you've gone to start your job. Like, I didn't even give myself room to just be a child, to just allow myself to do the things that fellow people who are in their 20s were doing. So I would encourage you, just allow yourself to make those mistakes and just learn from them. The other thing that I learned, or I wish I knew about my 20s, live a little. Live just a little bit more. Go out more often. Go for those day trips. Meet your friends. Make new friends, both online and offline. Like, don't be too rigid, because then when you're older, you might not even have the opportunity to do that as much, because then there's a lot of competing tasks. Because in your 20s, you have a bit more free time. Probably you're in college, you finished college, you just started your first job, you're earning your first paycheck. So you have a bit more flexibility. That, I would say, is very different from when you probably will be in your 30s, because then it will be like you have family, you have a career, probably your career has reached peak, you're traveling, there's children, there's a partner, there's running a home, there's a nanny. So you'll not be able to enjoy those things. So when you're in your 20s, just live a little bit more. Allow yourself to see the world and what the world has to offer. The other thing I wish I knew about my 20s, most of the things that you think matter, or that I thought in my case mattered then, looking back, they really didn't. This is to say that the things that you see that are very important when you are in your 20s might not necessarily be the case. Like, for example, when I was in my 20s, every little coin that I got, I'd want to buy clothes, go to KFC, eat chips and burger. Like that at that time, that is like the ultimate life. Like, that is what you feel like. If you get to that point, you're like, hey, you have made it. Let me tell you, most of those things that you're really struggling to achieve, like at that time, they do not matter. In 10 years to come, assuming that you're 20 now, in 10 years to come, when you'll be 30, you'll be looking back and you're like, really, that is not the only angle of life. So just allow yourself and just know that the things that you really feel like matter in your 20s, they do not. This applies even to like relationships. And when I talk about relationships, I'm mainly talking like if you're in the dating space. When you're in your 20s, especially your early 20s, when you go through a breakup, you feel like life has stopped. Because at that point, that really matters to you. But I can assure you, now that I have lived a little bit more than the 20s age, I can tell you for sure, like, those relationships, most of the time, they do not even matter. So don't spend a lot of energy on crying, mourning, and just getting so invested in a very serious relationship when you're just 20 or you're 21. Allow yourself to grow, allow yourself to explore. The other thing I wish I knew about my 20s is pursue your passions. Pursue your passions. This is especially in terms of even hobbies. Because when you're older, I feel like you're so much self-aware that you're not even allowing yourself to be free. But when you're in your 20s, just be carefree. If you like drawing, go and draw. If you like hiking, go and hike because you have the time, you have less responsibility. It is just about you and it is your time to see the world in your own eyes. The last thing that I wish I knew when I was in my 20s, there's a whole life ahead of you. And that applied to me, and I wish I knew that it is not the end of life. You know, when you finish college, you just feel like you have made it. It is just the beginning. So when things don't work out in your 20s, don't feel like you're stuck. Just know that there's a whole life ahead of you. You can still turn things around. And that even if you're stuck or even if your career has begun and you do not like it, you can switch. If you're doing something that you do not like, you can make that turn around. You know, that don't get so stuck up just because you feel like I finished school, this is the path that I took, now I cannot change. No, 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 no. There's a whole life ahead of you. There's so many things for you to do. Don't be in a rush. If it is getting that car, take your time. You know, save up pole pole. There are other things other than just having a car. Don't be in a rush to live like so and so's life because you don't know what they are doing to make that income. You don't know what they are doing to be able to afford those things that they are affording. So just know there's a whole life ahead of you for you to own those properties, for you to get that car, for you to grow in your career, for you to start earning like a six figure. So don't beat up yourself so much about it. For you even to be able to like make your nails, to be able to afford like good hair, for you to be able to do makeup, like there's a time for that and there's a whole life ahead of you. So those are some of just a few things that I wish I knew in your 20s. If you're in your 20s and you're watching this episode, just let me know what is it about your 20s that you love so much. And if you're in your 30s, just let me know what you wish you knew when you were in your 20s. And also, let's just interact. Let me know that out of the things that I have shared, are these things that you can relate with or not? Or if you have more to add, like just from what I have shared, feel free to put that in the comment section below. That's it for today. See you guys in the next episode. Bye.